This was kind of an interesting thing that happened in my early days of fly tying, in that you could fish on lakes through the ice in winter for trout.
Oh, right,
And
yeah.
if you chose your lake carefully, um, and drilled a pretty reasonable hole on the ice, you could actually sight fish.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and so we used to drop white eggshells in the hole, which would give you a white background at the base of the lake. I mean, you were limited by depth, obviously, and everyone used to use maggots and all sorts of things, and I used to use flies,
Oh, wow.
and you could lie there, and I learned a tremendous amount about fish, and especially lake fish, of course. But you'd be there, and you'd have a trout swim up and stop with his nose right in front of your fly. And sometimes if you gave it a little tweak, they'd eat it. Sometimes the tweak would put them off and they'd disappear. And sometimes the exact same fish that maybe had some random injury or marking on it, you'd see the same fish come back 10 minutes later
Yeah.
and look at exactly the same fly. And your initial twitch might have sent him away, and on your twitch this time, he eats it. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like having an aquarium and a place to test stuff out.
So, and then your brain is just, all those cogs are just turning when he comes back and he eats it the second time, and you're like, what the hell?
Well, it was kind of the start of my commercial fly tying at the
Okay.
same time, because people, you'd quite often go to a lake, and there'd be multiple people there. Especially if it was a fishing club lake, they
Yeah.
might have a
Yeah.
special opening day and so forth. And flies were, as it turns out, pretty good at outfishing maggots.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, very. I never would have picked that at all. And then the guys who were fishing through the ice by traditional Swedish methods were all of a sudden coming to me and going, "What are you catching these fish on?" And I'd show them a size 18 pheasant tail, and
Yeah.
they'd be blown away.
Yeah.
How can you catch something on something so small and so non-descriptive?
Yeah.
And then people were asking me for them, so I started tying and selling, and that paid for my fly tying addiction of Hoffman capes and saddles and all that expensive stuff.
So do you think, I mean, I'm pure speculation from my side, but do you think something like a pheasant tail in winter would be more effective because there's kind of less bug life around and now they're seeing it and they recognize it as food, or what do you think?
I think you're just coming down to the fact of you're imitating something that they're seeing all the time. They're
Yeah.
seeing small bugs, and a pheasant tail can be exactly what the fish wants it to be. It can be a mayfly nymph, a caddis nymph. It's a bug.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so I think that was the difference. Whilst they would eat, spoons and other ice fishing methods, the most consistent one were flies. and
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden, of course, I wanted to see where the boundary was of what I could catch in this winter, when I could actually see the fish and see their reaction to flies. And I guess that's probably where the start of category 3 came from.
Would you, how big would those holes be that you drill?
They'd be big enough for you to sit your face on it like
Okay.
you would on a doctor's table when
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
lie
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So I'm not very good at dimensions, but I'm guessing
Yeah. I
maybe
understand what you're saying.
40
Like a
centimeters.
massage table, like,
Yeah, yeah. So you could see, and you put a blanket over your head, and that cuts out the glare, and then you get this amazing vision. Yeah.
and then if you're using a fly, how are you putting it in the water? Are you using like a check technique or is it a hand line? Like, how would you do that then?
Hand line,
So,
a hand line with a little piece of split shot to sink the fly. And fishing, I don't remember exactly, but probably way heavier tippet than I would today, now knowing a little bit more about trout
yeah.
fishing. But um, and you could haul them up pretty
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah.
And you could catch and release too and put them back.
So now